Many thanks for staying tuned. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. Today on the program, we intend to take a look at Uromi killings, tragedy of a nation. And of course, this morning we have two guests who will be joining the conversation. We have a live guest in the studio and would have the other guests join us via Zoom. We have in the studio this morning a friend of the house, Adewale Adeoye, is a journalist. Thank you for being here on the program
thank you.
Today. And of course, we have joining us via Zoom a security expert, of course, High Chief Darlington Omoro. He'll be joining us via Zoom. Good morning, High Chief.
Good morning, madam.
Okay.
How are you guys doing this morning?
We're very well, thank you. Thank you for joining. All right, let's start with Mr. Adeoye here, because you are a journalist and a public affairs analyst. I'd like to ask you, yes, 16 travelers were lynched of northern extraction were lynched in Uromi. It's a northeast local government area of Edo State. And the question that readily came to mind for me would be the fact that beyond the killing, what does this say about the value of human life? That's to you.
Yeah, I think it's very unfortunate that 16 people are killed in the most gruesome manner. There was no opportunity for them to be heard. There was no fair trial. Nothing was done to even give them an opportunity to defend themselves. So I think it's a very unfortunate thing. No matter the offense the 16 people may have committed, there is no justification for anyone to take law into his hands. So I think we should get that very clear. However, in dealing with conflict, we have to look at the transformational aspect of every crisis.
Okay.
Why did these people decide to kill them in that manner? In the first place, Uromi has a large population of Hausa people that have been living there for over a century, and there's not been any problem with them. Uromi is known to be a very peaceful community. Uromi has never been associated with any violent acts like this. This is the first time in recent memory. So they are a cultured people, well known to be cultured, decent people. So what propelled them to take this action?
Okay.
Those are the questions we should ask ourselves.
Right.
Because people just want to look at things from, face value.
Right.
That community has been subjected to the worst form of kidnapping.
Before now.
In fact, in Edo State, about 24 settlements have been sacked by nomadic terrorists. In this particular community, the women, demonstrated and went to the palace of the king of Uromi and said, look, we are tired. That was several months before this issue happened. And this incident happened on March 27. A day before, the community paid 25 million naira as ransom. A man and his wife were kidnapped. They paid ransom, I think, about 5 million. After that, the couple was killed. And I read in Vanguard, when the journalists went there and said there was a pregnant woman that was kidnapped. She was under labor, and then they took her. She was to deliver. Because the date of the was there. So they kidnapped the man and the husband.
The woman
and the husband, and took them to the forest. Right there, the woman delivered. And the terrorists fed their dog with the baby. So, you see, a lot, and I also read about the king of Uromi, who said they kidnapped his own sister. They kidnapped two people from the palace were taken away. In fact, he was completely, I'm tired of what is going on. So the community was in a desperate situation when this incident happened. People have been killed, people have been raped, and they have been crying, but nobody is coming to their aid. So immediately they saw these people with weapons. They just said, look, they were giving signal, they were coming from Ubiaja. Passing through. So they tried to stop them at Ubiaja. They didn't stop. So the state security passed information to those in Uromi that they should. So they were able to stop the trailer with a tipper. And then they got there, they saw this man with guns and all that. So it's wrong that they shouldn't have killed them that way. But we must also understand the underlying factors
of what happened. Yeah.
Okay, Chief Darlington, looking at the narration of Adeoye this morning, there have been instances of kidnapping, others killing people, collecting ransom. What do you think should have been done before the jungle justice that we witnessed recently, where those 16 people were killed by security agents? What do you think security agents should have done prior to what happened?
Security agents or those who accosted them. We have to understand precisely those we want to address.
Well, maybe
security agent now. Yes. Looking at what has happened before now, what do you think security agents should have done before now?
What the Constitution provides for them to do, secure the people and their properties.
Okay. Nothing more.
That is what the Nigerian Constitution of 1999, as amended, provided for. The primary responsibility of security agencies are to protect humans, Nigerians, non-Nigerians who are resident in Nigeria, and what they owe. Period.
Okay. Let's still stay with you, Chief Darlington. Buttressing what Jibola asked you would be, and from what account of Mr. Adeoye earlier, what led to the lynching of those travelers from the villagers, and so perhaps also because they had also, cried out for help many times and that didn't come. And you just said now that, the primary responsibility of security operatives would have been to secure lives and property. But perhaps if they had also been more proactive, would we have still seen what happened?
I guess that is the question he was really looking at. But I answered the question
like they asked you,
the way
he asked you.
The way he asked it, so that we don't have some of these things mixed up.
Right.
The truth is that for jungle justice to take place anywhere in the world, it means that the people have lost hope in the ability of the security operatives to defend them.
Okay.
And so they have to take their own fate into their own hands, trying to defend themselves. We have seen situations in this country, particularly up north, where kidnapping is very much rampant, where even a former governor of Zamfara State asked that the people of Zamfara State should be allowed to bear firearms so that they could defend themselves. We have also seen situations where a former minister in this country also called for the people to defend themselves. And the question has always been that if you're asking these persons to defend themselves, it obviously meant that the people or the government of those places do not really believe in the ability or capabilities of the security operatives to defend, protect the people, particularly the masses, adequately. And so what happened in Uromi, clearly explained what the entire people of Edo State had been facing or what they have been suffering, over time. But my question is that the solution to the entire problem?
Okay.
Has that created more problems for them now? The answer is yes.
Right.
Is that going to lead to tension in the country? The answer is yes. Is that going to lead to tension up north for other northern indigenes who are resident in up north? The answer is yes.
Right.
The governor of Edo State did well by running to Kano State to quickly discuss with the Kano people and then go to the families of these persons who were lynched? The answer is yes.
Right.
All of this, sometimes when we carry out some of these activities, yes, it must have been an outburst of bottleneck problems that existed over time.
Okay.
But you must not continue to lose faith in the security arrangements of the nation. What those people would have done was the second thing they did. That was not the only arrest. I think another vehicle was captured.
Right.
With some persons. I saw that video, and what did they do? They handed them over to the security agencies. Now, whether you have faith in the security or not, Nigeria is not a banana island. And when you want to do some of those things, you also have to put into consideration the aftermath of what that action could be.
Right.
As much as the people have suffered, some cannot go to farm. I saw where one of the paramount rulers of that land was saying that he does not want the Fulani people in their land anymore. Right. But we are making a mistake. Like what I said on another television, I said it is absolutely wrong for us to keep tribalizing and generalizing the actions of these persons who do some of these things to a particular tribe. Okay. It is not right. It is not proper. We have seen situations where arrests were made, and some persons who were arrested were not actually from that same tribe. Right. So, because this same tribe are those who are known as herders, those who breed cattle, and who move them from one point to another. We quickly would arrogate it to a tribal thing. That is absolutely wrong. That should be corrected, and that should be, people should understand that in as much as the activities of those who are making life difficult for the people in Edo State and other parts of the country is so high now, they should rather begin to challenge the security operatives to up their games. They have not been able to up their games, and then I blame the Inspector General of Police. I blame him because, for instance, do we have enough hands, enough men and women to police the nation? The answer is no. If you ask the IG today, what is the numerical strength of the Nigerian police? The figure it will give you will fluctuate between 340 and 370, 380. Because it's not really sure about the number of policemen we have. And then from that same number, you take away those of them who are VIPs. On the SPU, the Special Protection Unit that protects the VIP and the VVIP and institutions. By the time you take away all of that, in Nigeria, you
how many do we have left?
A VIP or VVIP will be having about 5-10 men, 5-10 policemen taken away from the shortfall that we already have. I think something should be done. One of the things they tell us quickly when they come to office, the IGs now, is that the first thing they tell Nigerians is that they are withdrawing all SPUs and asking them to return to barracks. That will only last for
just a few days.
24 hours. And things will return to status quo.
Mr. Adeoye, Darlington said something very important there. It has happened. But what are the measures that we need to put in place so that we'll have that more bloodshed, of course, inter-ethnic fightings? You see people on social media from a particular section of the country threatening to kill people who are living in their state. So how do you think government should manage the whole situation?
I think the government is not doing enough in terms of building mutual cooperation, peace building and conflict prevention all over the country. And I think this is a problem that has, built, that has been built over the years. That in this country we have a lot of challenges in terms of seeing ourselves as one, in terms of seeing ourselves as one humanity, And I think the government has a very important role to play in this. For instance, these people that were killed in, Uromi. Some people who claim to be northern leaders were threatening and giving ultimatum. But in my own community, 2 traditional rulers were killed. When the suspects were arrested, they happened not to be, they are from the north. One traditional ruler in I think the year 2020 was killed in Ondo State. Israel Adeusi, first-class traditional ruler, butchered. Ogunshakin, and then the Onimojo were killed, shot, and they just wasted them like that. Or war, those it was bombed. If the people here had wanted to react in the same manner, you remember the woman, daughter of a Fenifere leader, that was killed. So if we had wanted to return in the same proportional response, we would have been saying that, giving ultimatums and asking people to leave our land and all that. So we should find a way to tolerate each other. We should find a way not to use these killings for political interest.
Okay.
We should find a way to understand that, look, people are also, some coppers going to Sokoto, they were kidnapped. They are all from Southerners, Heaven did not fall. So the idea of now saying because people are killing in Uromi there, we are giving it to and all that, I don't think it is right. So I believe that if we see ourselves as one humanity, we should understand that it's not every Fulani man that is a criminal.
Right.
It's not every Hausa man that is a criminal. It's not every Yoruba man or Igbo man that is a criminal. But unfortunately, we find ourselves in a country where, over the years, ethnic jingoism, ethnic stereotyping has been able to find roots, in our system.
Okay.
And I believe that it's a major threat to all of us. It's a major threat to people in government. It's a major threat to even our communities.
Right. Hi, Chief. Those that were lynched, according to those that perpetrated the acts, because they had also, they saw them with some kind of weapons. And so that would take me to the proliferation of light weapons and arms. And I know that you're always very particular about this. And so what role does this play in issues like this? And, how do we begin to, again, ensure that that mop-up that we've always talked about or we've always canvassed for is taken to a higher level here?
Bimbo, I think you are spot on. You got that right. Like my fellow guest there said, that government is not doing enough, and I quite agree with him, and I align with that. And I also respect that question you just asked. Of late, we have not really looked at not just mopping of arms now. We are not looking at arresting the proliferation of small arms and light weapons from its root. There's an agency that is bestowed with the primary responsibility of monitoring our borders and then catching some of these illicit arms that are supposed to be coming into Nigeria, particularly from the Sahel and some other parts of the
country.
Now, and that agency is the Nigerian Customs Service. The Nigerian Customs Service over time has concentrated our efforts in revenue generation. They want to make a mark, they want to make a name, but they have not considered that if you generate revenue and the people are all killed, that revenue will have no meaning or importance in the lives of these persons. I therefore recommend that Mr. President should ask the CGC, Controller General of Customs, Mr. Adeniyi, to go and relocate his office to the land borders, whether illegal or the legal land borders, where these firearms are coming into this country that is fueling proliferation of small arms and light weapons.
Okay.
I have also said this before. Let me reiterate that the customs area commanders in all the land borders should be removed and be replaced. If they are not doing their work, the job why they are supposed to be there very well, other than raising revenue for this country, let them be replaced and let the Controller General Adeniyi look inwards and bring in more vibrant men to replace these men who can do us good. Bimbo, the amount of weapons we have in this country today is too much. We have only just 10% of what is in the hands of the non-state actors in the hands of the state actors.
Right.
So what would the police do? What would the military do? What would the naval these other security agencies do when the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, illicit movement of these small arms and light weapons into the country is achieved on every day?
Okay.
Let me tell you something. What has led? Have you ever asked yourself why are we having other military, terrorist groups springing up today? You have the Lukarawa that just sprang up. When they first came in 2018, they were captured and arrested. and then they went back. Today they have come back heavily armed and all of that. Where do they get the supply of these firearms from?
Right.
The arms that go to Boko Haram, where do they come from? The arms that goes to ISWAP, aside from international conspiracy, where do they come in from? Many of these arms are coming in through the land borders.
Okay.
Many of these arms are coming in from the fall of dumps, particularly the dump of Libya. When Libya fell, most firearms from Libya, from research, found their ways through the Sahel into Nigeria.
Right.
And where do they pass through? What are our customs officers doing? If the Controller General of Customs, Mr. Deniyi, cannot secure these borders to ensure that some of these firearms, illicit firearms, do not come in, let him resign.
Okay.
If he cannot resign, let him redeploy the area commanders, customs area commanders at the land borders, and bring in other vibrant men who can take over those borders and secure us. Up until we begin to uproot this matter from their roots, we will not get it right. You want to talk of mopping up of disarmament and mopping up of illicit arms in circulation. It's not as easy and cheap as that. But people say, what has the government done about that so far? Mr. President is doing all he could to ensuring that the military who are fighting the war are well taken care of this time. They are given equipment, but the ECOWAS cooperating. Is ECOWAS cooperating with that certificate of what is it called now? Certificate of exemption that Nigeria must obtain before Nigeria can buy equipment. The international conspiracy is also there. The Europe and America and Asia, how many of them are ready to sell firearms equipment to Nigeria? So not just mopping up. Why don't we cut off supply to the non-state actors? Let us try and block the supply, and then let us before we begin to talk of mopping up.
Okay. All right.
What is with them? My phone just fell. So.
Your phone had to fall because, I mean, when you talk about these issues, there's always this passion that you speak with. So while you replace your phone properly, let's come back to Mr. Adeoye here in the studio. Just quickly, Jibala. I mean, Chief mentioned something earlier, and he said, was the governor's action in quickly running to Kano, was it in the right step in the right direction? And he did say yes. But let's also take it from your own angle, because a lot of people had said if he had not taken that step, perhaps there would have been reprisal attacks, and perhaps also he would not have been able to calm the nerves like he did in Kano. But in your own opinion, how would you also assess that situation?
Well, I think that what he did was good. Shows that he's a cultured person. Even if others are not doing like that, it's not an excuse for us not to show that we have a different approach to issues like this. So I think for going to the north, it's not out of fear. It's just out of humility. So I think what he did was the right thing to do. And I hope other leaders will also learn from that, Because if he had not done that, definitely there might have been some people who want to,
take
to
laws
feast,
into their hands.
On that crisis to cause a lot of mayhem. So I think I agree with, what the governor did, by going to the north. I mean, to talk to them and all that. So it's right. And I also hope other people will learn from
that example.
And I also think on the provision of arms, illicit arms, is a major problem in this country. When people have access to arms, then you cannot be talking about respect for law. Because you believe that when you are armed, you can do anything. You can commit crime, you can kill people, you can just do anything to survive, So I think if we don't deal with this problem of illicit arms, it's going to, it's going to haunt us. And I think apart from the borders, I also understand that they move in small arms through River Niger. River Niger passes through some 8 countries from Guinea Island. And it ends at the Gulf of Guinea in Nigeria. So they use small vessels to move in arms
on the waterways.
And just like I said, our borders, it still boils down to the customs service that they need to do more. We appear to be placing profit above human lives. You also want to make millions, you want to make millions. But what about human life? It's even better for you not to make profit
and then be secure,
and then protect human lives. Because if you look at people that have been killed in this country by terrorists, it's a huge number. In fact, some countries don't lose that kind of number when there is in a state of war. So are we going to continue in this way?
Okay.
And I think one of the challenges we need to address is to decentralize the security architecture. Because protecting lives and property, the role of the police is not just about, protecting lives and property, it's about protecting a people's culture, protecting a people's environment. And it means you must have a kind of sociological, cultural attachment to the terrain where you are serving as a police person. And that's why most federal states all over the world, they always ensure that there is state policing, there's community policing. Because the police in those communities are familiar with the culture, they are familiar with the terrain, they are familiar with the sociology of the people. They have passion, they have spirituality, spiritual attachment to the land. And that's why, having state police is one of the major things. People have said that, governors will use it for political gains and all that. But politics comes just once in 4 years.
Right.
And I think there are more issues, crime, defending the environment, protecting the culture that are far, far different from, electoral issues.
Okay.
So we should be able to advance to that realm where we should be able to have state policing. I believe that may go a long way to address insecurity
issues
in our country.
Okay, aside from the trip of Mr. Governor to Kano now, Chief Darlington, what are the other complementary efforts that should be put in place to calm all nerves in Uromi community now? Because I doubt if they can live together, trusting each other again.
Well, in the first instance, those who were lynched were not caught in the act.
Sure.
If you caught some people in the act of carrying out a crime, and then you lynch to them, it is as far as it's not too good, it's still fair. These persons were caught, and the persons claimed that they were coming from Port Harcourt, and they were passing by. And then if you know the route from Onitsha to link through Auchi to Okene and then to the north, you know that the shortcut, the bypass, is to come through Agbo and then link Uromi and go. From Uromi and go, you come out in Ewu. From Ewu, you access the Auchi area and then Okwela and Okene and all of that. Okay, well, as gruesome as that was, the Edo State people have really suffered. They have suffered so much in the hands of these non-state actors, these criminals. But even so, if you had caught these same persons, and then it is obvious that they were caught in the act, it would have been a different ball game. But because they were seen with some firearms, well, we had at a point in time the former president of this country, who was overwhelmed by the activities of the non-state actors, well, and the illicit movement of firearms. You remember that some borders have to be shut,
right?
At a point in time in this country, just to see if they could use that to curtail or contain the movement of illicit firearms and ammunition into this country. But that did not work. That same president overwhelmingly said that he had tried all he needed to do, but he did not consult the likes of people like me. And then I should have told him precisely what to do. Yes, it's not a laughing matter. Yeah, because I have also told myself that I won't be giving solutions on television. But my love for Lagos television is the reason I'm advising the president and the Nigerian Customs Service. We've had situations in this country where a terrorist was supposed to come bomb Nigeria. The security operatives did what they need to do. They did the profiling. And at the clearinghouse, they submitted their report. And that report was handed over to another agency that was supposed to now monitor this man coming in through the borders. What did that agency do? Talking about the NIS, the Nigerian Immigration Service. They leaked that information to the press. And so that man who was supposed to come in and was being awaited by security agencies to be picked up, only to be monitored by the NIS, Nigerian Immigration Service. When that information went to the press, the man got a wink of it and never came again. Only to go back, we don't know now whether he's going to re-strategize and all of that.
Okay.
The Nigerian Immigration Service was supposed to merely monitor the border. They were given the different passports that international passport that man was coming in with the different names. They were given the number plate of the vehicle he was coming with. It was to pick some men in Niger and then pick some men in Nigeria and then go to Abuja to carry out that criminal activity. But because of the proactiveness of the Nigerian security agencies, they were able to track that down, did the proper profiling, monitored him, and then at the clearinghouse, handed that matter over to the next agency that was supposed to be in charge or take charge.
Right.
But what did we get? The matter was busted, and that was the end of that story. And so what are we saying about, what are we talking about now? The Nigerian Customs Service, this matter is in their hands. What they need to do now is to up their games. If you have men manning certain areas and they are not giving you the desired results, as the head of that agency, what do? Replace them. You have vibrant other men in your service that can do that for you. If you try, keep trying until you get the desired result. You don't look away and you just leave some men there for whatever reasons. Why are you? When Buhari first came, he asked that defense should relocate to northeast. He said that they have no business. All the generals have no business sitting in Abuja and giving command and from the control room that they should relocate, which was what they did. I'm also subscribing this morning. I've said this, I'm only reiterating it, that the Custom Comptroller General, talking about Adeniyi, should be asked to relocate to the land borders. And then let him work with his team there and give us results. Cut down the supply of illicit movement of firearms and ammunition into this country that we can checkmate the proliferation. Until we are able to do all of that, what would we be doing? They are multiplying. The groups, the bandit groups are multiplying on daily basis. You cannot tell, I cannot place a finger to tell you this morning that we have A to Z number of bandits, groups, leaders in Nigeria.
Hi, Chief.
They have in their possession these firearms.
We need to leave this conversation here this morning. Thank you so much for being part of the discussion, and we truly appreciate your contributions on the program this morning.
And also thank me for breaking my phone.
I'm sure that phone didn't break. Thank you so much, Chief, for always contributing on the program.
You are the one that said that. The dispatch rider will deliver this phone to you.
I know that phone is well guarded. And thank you so much,
dispatch rider will deliver it to you.
Thank you so much for your time on the program. So, I mean, we need to also go here, but in wrap, we know that 2 people have been arrested in connection with this case. Are you confident that something positive will come out of this situation at the end of the day?
Well, let's give them, the
benefits of the doubt.
And let's hope something will be done. But if we are to be guided by precedents, even in that Uromi, many times they have arrested suspected kidnappers and nothing happened. They get them arrested, take them to the police station, and then the next day they were released. Some people in Uromi say that those people that were linked, some people came to identify them. And
even some of their property.
Them. Yes, they said, look, these people, they are involved in kidnapping them. So that means, we are in a very tough situation because given the tradition of terrorists, those who bombed where are they today? Those who killed those traditional rulers, what has happened to them? So if we look at presidents, there is that fear that maybe nothing will happen. So I think we hope we are going to get we are going to get somewhere that we begin to have confidence in the Nigerian security. But for now, that confidence is very low.
It's very low. Okay, thank you so much, Adewale Adeoye, for finding time to be here on the program today. And we also thank Chief Darlington for joining us via Zoom on the program today. Fingers crossed, we do hope that the very best will come out of the situation at the end of the day. We'll take a break. When the conversation returns, Adebimpe and Joy will take you through their Lagos conversation.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.